Hello everyone and welcome to our track guide for this week. This week, you know the track, you know the place, but we're going to take you for a couple laps around it and show you some quick tips later on in the video. Entering turn 1 in Indianapolis, we're going to dip our wheels below the white line. Be careful not to touch the rumble strip or apron on the left. We're going to do this for all four corners. We want to make sure as we do this we don't screw up too much speed. You can see I'm holding the wheel as steady as I can in the corners. Each of the four corners do drive a little bit differently. So for example here on turn 3, I'm going to take a bit of a tighter entry, less of an arc, getting to the apex, trying to get my wheels below the white line. In a race situation, I'm not going to have to hit the perfect lap. In qualifying though, that will be a different story. And because Indianapolis is 2.5 miles long, a lot of the speed in the lap time simply comes from not scrubbing the speed. So as you see me enter turn 1 here, I'm very smooth on the wheel. I'm trying not to fight the car. I want to keep the rear stable. And in turn 2, I take a shallower entry. I'm not arcing. I'm kind of driving straight towards the apex. And in a way, it's almost like I'm straight lining a corner. And that's where you can find some speed there. Heading for turn 3 again. Ideally, for a fast lap, I want to keep my tires below the white line, as I said. However, when you're in a race situation and you have cars in front of you, sometimes that will be difficult. Or if you need to, you can run above the white line and simply gain back the time of the straightaways with the slipstream. And those are 2 laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now we'll go ahead and look at some quick tips for some race situations. The key to a good race in Indianapolis, as of this build, is the following. Track position, track position, track position. If you qualify up front, you'll have the opportunity to control the race with other drivers you trust or with friends and teammates. That's because there's significant aero push in this car, especially in higher track temperatures at Indy. If you're at the front, the math is simple. You'll have less cars in front of you and therefore less turbulent air to deal with. Even behind 5 or 6 cars, it's quite difficult to follow, but it's not impossible to make ground. So we can do this in a number of different ways. First is we can search for clean air. We do this by running the opposite line of the car in front of us. So if the car in front goes low, we go high. Take note of the lines the cars are running in front of you. Try and study their behavior and try and anticipate what line they will run next. If you guess right, you can gain significant ground. Make sure to pay attention to where the cars are in front of you when you're attempting to make a pass. If you go for a pass on the inside and a car is running the bottom in front of you, you should expect a loss of front downforce due to aero push, and you may need to lift out of the throttle. You will therefore see a lot of passes on the outside where there is clean air. The runs can be quite big on the high side, so pay attention not to cut off the momentum of a car committed to the high side pass like you can see here. If this happens, simply lift out of the throttle, fall back in line, and try and make up the position later. And we can do this with fuel strategy. By saving fuel, you can run longer in a stint and shorten your pit stop compared to the car that is running full rich in front of you. Running in the draft can usually save around 1/10 of a gallon, which doesn't sound like much, but can save you upwards of 5 laps of fuel over a full stint. So you can choose to go for the overcut by running as long as you can, or you can also attempt to undercut or run an alternate strategy by pitting as soon as a fuel window opens. However, the danger of pitting early, of course, is that if you pit early and a caution comes out, it's possible you may become trapped a lap down. Lots of time can be gained from pit in Indy, as you can see from McKelly and Brandon here. Simply pull low out of turn 4 at full throttle and brake as late as you dare. Fast in-laps and out-laps are just one of many ways you can win at this track. And that's our basic guide for Indianapolis. If you'd like to read more information about racing this week at Indy, including the Open Series, Fixed Series, as well as the iRacing Indycar series, check below in the description for more information.